Indianapolis as we watch Scott Brayton hold off Paul Tracy. This is a battle now for 5th place.
Only 4 drivers in the race have more experience here than Scott Brayton. So it's not a surprise to see him able to hold off the highly touted rookie, Paul Tracy.
With the pit stops being staggered now, one group stopping on lap 16, and then again a few laps ago in another group waiting until lap 39, the second yellow. There's the 59 car. That's Eddie Cheever, that last-minute jump into the Indy 500 as he makes what appears to be a routine stop. And this is Roberto Guerrero. That is a stop-and-go penalty being assessed. He was black flagged. Boy, look at him power that thing on. Almost lost the back end. He was black flagged and called in for that penalty because he exceeded the pit speed limit of 100 miles an hour. He was warned once, and then they gave him the black flag penalty. Al Unser leads it. Al Unser Jr. is second. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Al Jr. has his car on pit road. Remember, they changed the wicker bill earlier. This time they make an adjustment to the right front wing because Al Jr. had complained of having a push going in and being loose coming out. Maybe the wing adjustment will tweak it just to the proper settings. Paul?
So first and second place, just that quickly stop. Al Unser and Al Unser Jr. The two of them are running together. Bobby?
Boy, I'll tell you what, Paul. Watch the black strip on the outside of the turns. Right there, you see the red and white car, the Marlboro car coming out. They don't get into the black right now. The turns are slippery. The racetrack is slippery. The speeds are down to 200 miles an hour. There's Scott Brayton in the pits. But watch now. The track is just very slippery in the normal groove.
So the track is changing. You suggested, Bobby, the groove may move up on the track as the day wears on?
Yes, right now they're going as low as they can, Paul. They go to the apex of the rumble strip in the middle of the turn. They're not going out to the wall coming off. Now, as the time goes on, we're starting to see a few of the cars are going up higher in the middle of the turn. But they're still coming off down low because that's where it's the driest.
Scott Brayton entered the pits in 4th place. And take a look at this. John Andretti is now the leader of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. John Andretti, who did not have a ride coming to the last day. And now Robbie Gordon moves past John. He just did it on the back straightaway. And Robbie Gordon, the rookie, picks up the lead. There's John Andretti. He peeled off, came in, and then gave the lead to Gordon. Let's go to Jack.
Paul, the biggest smile on pit road is from A.J. Foyt. He is voicing, he is actually signaling to John Andretti something, trying to give him a word. Let's see if we can find out exactly what it was. A.J., what did you tell John?
I was telling him reset fuel button because we're kind of gambling a little bit and we just wondering not to run out.
That's the man.
So with John in and out, Robbie is next up. And Robbie is on the pit road as he'll head down to A.J. Foyt's pits. And Jack Arute continues to watch.
It is absolutely amazing, Paul, as A.J. Foyt watches first place, then second place, and now Robbie Gordon, your leader, comes in, his team car. He takes the water bottle. They are making no major changes on either car. Gordon trying to maintain his composure. Remember, he is the rookie team with John Andretti. And they pull as we watch Paul Tracy. Let's go to Paul.
Now, Paul Tracy makes a stop at the same time as Robbie Gordon, though a little bit longer. Paul Tracy rolls back into the fight, but he's fallen out of the top 10 on this stop. And notice how carefully he rolled through the pits. Now, at this point on the track, they can pick up speed and move back up to racing speed. These stops again under the green. There's Jeff Andretti, the familiar Andretti helmet. After a year of rehabilitation, is back running the Indianapolis 500. And Jeff Brabham, one of the Menard cars, a car that has been troublesome for Jeff this month. He only got 2 laps in the final practice session.
Jeff Brabham, he told me the other day, you know, I'm not doing badly for an unemployed racing driver. He doesn't have a regular ride, but he's running here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and in a few weeks he'll be running for Peugeot at Le Mans. So he's doing the 2 biggest races in the world, even though he doesn't have a regular ride. There's Dominic Dobson leaving the pits in a sister car to last year's winning car.
So now under the green flag, the racing continues on the track, and this man, Scott Goodyear, now picks up the lead. Scott Goodyear at the lead of the Indianapolis 500. We'll return with more of the Indy 500 after this message and a word from our DC station. Back live in Indianapolis, you look down from the Goodyear blimp Spirit. The captain is Aaron Jenkins. By the way, the blimp is traveling at 32 miles an hour, while Nigel Mansell, the leader just below us there, has been traveling laps at 210.5 miles an hour. He is chased by his teammate Mario Andretti. Take a look at the Valvoline driver summary. Started in 8th place, now 1st. The record number of leaders in the Indianapolis 500 was set in 1980 with 10 different leaders. We're already there, and we're not even to the halfway point, Sam.
Well, I think what set up the situation, as you see the blimp there, with a staggered first series of pit stops. So half the field, in effect, stopped early, and the other half waited. And as the race is shaken out, it's starting to form up now to an understandable thing. But certainly in this last, in the first quarter of the race, it's very confusing.
So Nigel Mansell at the front of the field. Mario, then Emerson Fittipaldi. 4th is Teo Fabi. Ari Leyendyk is 5th. Al Unser, followed by his son. 6th and 7th, Robbie Gordon is now in 8th. 9th is John Andretti, and 10th is Scott Brayton.
You are riding there with Nigel Mansell.
We ride with Nigel Mansell. We talked to him. Gary Gerald had an opportunity to ask him, when you're in the cockpit, are you aware of this giant crowd that surrounds the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? What are your concerns during the race itself?
I think the biggest thing is that I've never raced on an oval before. I mean, I tried at Phoenix, but didn't quite get there. I've just got to keep an open mind. I think I want to stay out of trouble. I hope that the car is reliable, and I've never gone more than 200 miles in my racing career. So to do 500 miles is going to be a new experience as well. To be in the car over 3 hours probably is definitely going to be a new experience. I'm going to be doing a lot of firsts this weekend, and I just hope I can come through it all and draw on experience and gain a lot of strength and go on from there.
So Nigel points to his greatest concern as he passed over the 200-mile mark, or will pass over it here 4 laps ahead. That'll be the longest distance he has ever driven, so he will pass into unknown territory. So far, he has handled these pit stops very well.
Notice how little he has to move the steering wheel as he goes through the turns. That's the indication that the balance of the car, front to rear, is perfect. Remember how fast the steering is on these cars. If it was a passenger car, you'd have to take 2 or 3 turns on the wheel to get through a turn. Not these. The steering is very fast, very responsive.
You know, Sam, one of the things I notice about Nigel and Mario's cars both is they seem to be handling better, or more consistently better, than all the other cars in the race today.
There is no contest at the front of the field as we look through the running order at the conclusion of the 76th lap. Everything runs static down through the top 10. We've reached that point in the race where the race tends to settle just a bit.
It's really the Newman-Haas team placing 1st and 2nd with pursuit by the Penske team. These are the most powerful teams in IndyCar auto racing at this point, and right now they're occupying the first 3 positions in this race.
The last time that team cars finished 1st and 2nd was in 1962. Bob Wilkie's leader car team. Roger Ward winning and Len Sutton in 2nd. Or when Len Sutton pulled in at the end of the race, his throttle fell off. And A.J. Watson, his crew chief, said, well, they're only supposed to go 500 miles anyway.
Now you can really see the difference. Watch Mansell back there working on his prey right in front of him. But watch how he's been doing this stuff. He went across the short chute, got a run, passed him coming off in 2, and right down the long back straightaway with an easy pass, Paul.
Remember, Danny Sullivan puts up into the wall, and there was contact. Now he is with Jerry Punch.
Danny, a short day for you and a close call. What happened out there?
Well, we're not really sure right now. We might have found something that was a problem, that maybe a piece broke, but just going into 3, I just radioed in and said I've got a lot more push than I've had, and we had just put more front wing in it and tried some stuff to get less push. And part of the way around 3, I just had no more steering. I mean, in terms of that the wheels weren't turning the car. I mean, I had plenty of steering in my steering wheel, but didn't change direction, just went straight up and got up in the gray and couldn't turn the car at all and hit the fence coming off of 3. And So hopefully we found what it is. But those are kind of the ones you walk away from going, boy, I really wish I knew what happened.
Let me show you how close a call Danny Sullivan had. Look at his race car here. This spot right here is the lower A-frame from the right side of the car that's come all the way through the tub, underneath his knees, and pierced through the left side, extending out. Danny had that close a call with the wall, guys.
Of course, all of these cars very carefully designed to account for safety. Nigel Mansell still leads, chased by Mario Andretti, but you see now that Fittipaldi is closing in, trying to catch Andretti. For the moment, they have a separation between them. That's the 76 car, Tony Bettenhausen at the wheel. 10 different leaders in the Indianapolis 500 thus far, as we've just passed over the 200-mile mark. So Nigel Mansell is an unknown territory.
ABC Sports exclusive coverage of the Indianapolis 500. Brought to you by Molson. The call comes down from Canada. Crisp, clean, refreshing. Molson, answer the call. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. By the Heartbeat of America, Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealer. And by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Back at the Indianapolis 500, Emerson Fittipaldi running in third place. Heads for the pits. It's anticipated that the leaders will be in shortly. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Time world champion in Formula One, Emerson Fittipaldi, who 10 years ago came to Indy cars in for what should be routine service here. There was a bit of concern over the oil pump, but now we understand from the crew that it is routine use, not a concern. Emerson is like the setup on the car. We've got him in 15.9 seconds on this stop.
A bit of a stutter for Fittipaldi. He comes out conscious. Here's Teo Fabi, who was running right behind the leaders, now has fallen to 6th place as he came in for this stop. But he's been running a very consistent race thus far. Certainly not out of the fight.
And for the Jim Hall team, which in the 70s won 2 Indy 500. So here's a team with a lot of experience.
Report on the weather, Sam and Paul. Everything is really looking good. We can look a long ways to the west. It doesn't look any better or any worse than the start of the race. I'd say it's all go.
Well, a little higher up than you are, Aaron Jenkins, the captain of the Goodyear Blimp Spirit, is looking more to the west and says that there may be rain at about 1 o'clock Indianapolis time. It's about 12:14 in Indianapolis right now. Only one driver will savor the milk here in Victory Lane today, but next Sunday there will be plenty for all in the Dairy State. From Wisconsin, IndyCar's best meet again at the Miller Genuine Draft 200, live at 1 o'clock Eastern here on ABC Sports. And Mario Andretti, second place, rolling down the pit road as the yellow comes out once again, and what an advantage for both Nigel and for Mario. Let's go to Jack.
This could be costly for Mario Andretti. They're going to continue. Now, many drivers said that if they had a yellow come out, they would go through the pit lane. Remember, they closed pit lane. He may have snuck in and crossed the line before he crossed that line. If he had crossed the line and the yellow had come out, he would have been in deep trouble, but he made it in time. He is off and away.
Yes, the yellow appeared to flash on just after he passed over the start-finish line in the pits, honoring the speed limit. As other cars now take an opportunity to come in, Jim Crawford is in. And this is routine service on that.